There we go. Welcome to another episode of the Less is More Sports Podcast, the college off-season podcast. We have a very special episode today with two very special guests. During my time as a sports editor for the Sentinel News, I covered these two while they were playing basketball for Martha Lane Collins High School in Shelbyville, Kentucky. Watching both of them take the next step has been amazing to see. So introducing the newest Xavier Musketeer and Campbellsville Tiger, Dayvion McKnight and Marcellus Vail. Guys, thank you all so much for jumping on the show.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it having us.
So for the audience, a little bit what we're going to talk about today is the transfer portal is a growing commodity in collegiate sports. And with Dayvion and Marcellus both utilizing it this offseason, Matt and I wanted to give an informative episode, kind of talking about some truths and some myths about the portal and really get an athlete's perspective of what really goes on. So let's get right into it. Matt, I took up all the time on the intro, so you get us started with the questions.
All right. Thank you, Les, for that great intro. So the first question I have, I think it's the very basic question that everyone wants to know when it comes to this stuff is, how is this round of recruiting, for lack of a better term, different from the high school experience? And which one did you find more hands-on as you went through the process?
For me, it was different from the aspect as this round ago, I knew what I wanted. As far as, before then going to college, I was trying to figure out everything and all that. But now I already knew what I wanted, as far as playing time, my role, and, all that. And what was the second question?
Which one do you think was more hands-on from like the coaching perspective? High school or the transfer portal college recruitment process?
I say that was kind of the same. The transfer portal was definitely more, more coaches involved, I would say. Rather than high school, it was just a few assistants, and then you come down on a visit, you meet the coach and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I would basically say the same thing, honestly. I would say the transfer portal, like Dave said, you get to talk to the head coach a lot more, less than like speaking to the assistants. And it's a lot faster pace. So like they try to really push it really fast since you're in the portal, and then they want you to commit so fast. So high school is a lot more drawn out, I would say, but transfer portal, whenever you enter the transfer portal, it's a lot more fast paced for sure.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So from that, I'm going to jump to this question, which is the night before you commit out the transfer portal, did you have any trepidation, any fears about making the wrong decision? What were your emotions like the night before you committed for the second time?
Honestly, I felt very, it's a chance wherever you go, no matter what. Coming out of high school, it's a chance you got to take. So I feel like it was the same situation here. But I was very confident in, my decision that I made, and I'm going to stick to it no matter what.
Yeah, I would say it's all about just believing in yourself. So there's not really too much fear when it goes into it.
Okay.
You kind of just for us, I feel like we already kind of knew like that maybe we were going to do this. Like, it's not something that just happens right, as soon as you're about to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's something you got to talk about with your family. You have meetings with your head coach at the end of every season. So there's a lot more that goes into it. So I wouldn't say that there's too much fear because, we kind of knew it was going to happen, so.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, Sel, I'll start with you, since you said it's something you kind of knew. After playing 3 years at Samford, what was the deciding factor where you felt it was within your best interest to play somewhere else?
I just wanted more opportunity. I don't know. I was just ready to play. I didn't get to play a whole lot at Samford throughout my 3 years there. So, and I love the game so much that I'm just, ready to play.
I feel that. Dave, same question.
Mine was, a whole coaching change. Rick stepping down, getting a new coach, as well as I'm trying to, as everybody trying to get to the next level. So I felt like my best chance of making that happen was, trying to transfer and getting to a coach that has the same, vision and long-term effect.
My question, whoever wants to answer it first, really. What you've mentioned the speed and the ability to access the head coach already, but what aspects of the transfer portal surprised you the most as you explored a little bit further? What aspects did you not expect that popped up when you put your name in the portal?
I'll go ahead.
You
Dave.
got it.
I would say the biggest thing was all the phone calls. I mean, honestly, the amount of phone calls that you get as soon as you put your name in the portal, it's kind of exhausting, to be honest with you, because so many people call you. It's like, golly, but it's a good problem to have. So I'm thankful for it. But I would say that would be the biggest thing, just all the different phone calls and people that you get to talk to over time. And it's so fast, like, because they all try to get on you at the same time. And like compared to high school, like we were talking about earlier, it's not like that in high school. Like you might have a couple call you a day or call you every now and then. Like it was a lot in a matter of a week. Like it was,
Yeah, for sure. That was my same, problem, but I guess it was a good problem. But all the coaches, calling you every day, and like he said, it was fast paced. So a lot of it was happening in 2 days. You would have 15 plus coaches calling you. So
with all the moving pieces going around with the transfer portal, it's easy for the casual fan to see how it's changed the landscape of collegiate sports. But, from an athlete's perspective, whoever wants to answer this for us first, how do you think the transfer portal has changed college sports in ways that maybe a casual fan may not consider?
Go ahead, Dave.
I say, not, the fans, I feel like they go for more players, that's the bigger name players, the one that catch with the 5 stars and things like that. So right now I feel like, teams that have the most success in the tournament is the teams with the oldest guys, the 4-year transfer portal guys. So I feel like that's something that fans don't see. They just see people hitting the portal and thinking they're just trying to escape whatever they're going through at their school.
Yeah, a lot of it goes into like coaches and teams just wanting to win. I mean, honestly, like the transfer portal, I feel like is a good thing for transfers, but a bad thing for high school kids because it takes high school recruiting down a lot. But, I guess it is what it is. But it all just comes down to people, wanting to win and wanting older guys and people that are going to fit their play style on their team so they can win.
And I know this from covering you all at the Sentinel News, this does not apply to you all at all. But there's a narrative with casual fans that believe those who transfer, are taking the easy way out, not wanting to earn their minutes. And, from your all's two's perspective, what do you all think of that statement?
I just think it's all about like the best situation for the player. So like some situations just aren't what you think they're going to be or aren't what, I don't know, say your life is meant to go down,
Right.
So I would say some people transfer because they have to. Some people transfer because they just don't think that that's the best place for them and there's a better option,
Yeah. Most players, there's some players who are transferring just for those reasons, but I feel like a lot of these transfers now, they know that their place that they're at, they done outgrown it, or it's just, a place that they feel like they need to go somewhere else. So it's really just starting to a new beginning.
Right.
Yep.
Before Matt gets into his next question, I do want to point out that that narrative does not apply to Marcellus and Dayvion because they are two of the hardest working athletes I've been around. They're two very fine basketball players and even better young men. So I want to make that clear to the audience right now before we move on. So Matt, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to get that out. I wanted to get that out of the way.
All right. Since we mentioned new beginnings already, I was just wondering from like the perspective of like visiting campuses and all that stuff. How does being a veteran player like affect your view of that? Is it different from when you're in high school where you're kind of like enamored with all the facilities and everything like that, and it's more now of a business decision? And if there was anything about how you handled it this time around that would have surprised the younger version of you going on these campus visits and meeting people, etc.?
I would say for me, it didn't really like campus and stuff like that. It doesn't really like make me want to go to a school anymore or any less, you know. So for me, I just want to win and I want to play and just, you know, get to make the most out of my career that I can, you know. So, and I want to win. I've always wanted to win my whole life. I love winning. So that's the biggest thing for me. I mean, it could be the worst gym in America, and if they get it done and I feel like that's the place for me, I'm going to go there. So I wouldn't say any of that has ever really changed. And it was like that in high school too. So I wouldn't say any of that has ever really been a big thing to me.
Yeah, I'd say my choice this time was definitely more decision based. I wasn't really worried about the all the perks that come with the school and all that. So it's more, mine was more business about, like he said, winning. Just trying to keep getting my name out there, make the NCAA tournament and things like that. High school me's, I say the same thing. Just really about winning and going hard every day.
What was the hardest part about leaving your old campus behind? Was it the friendships, the coaches? What was the hardest part about leaving your older school?
I would say probably just the friendships, honestly, and just leaving all my teammates. That's probably the hardest thing. I mean, I'm grateful for everything that happened there, but it was just time for me to move on,
Yeah, that was probably my hardest. I was being there 3 years. I was kind of like a second home to me. So like, having all the friendships, all the people I connected with over the past 2 years. So just building bonds with everybody. That was probably the hardest.
Right.
If you all had to guess, what are some of the top factors that weigh into players' decisions to move on that maybe the casual fan wouldn't think about?
Better opportunity. Maybe more playing time. Just school. Maybe they have a major that the last school didn't have, and they wanted that. So there's a lot. It just depends on that individual and what that player is looking for.
Yeah, I would say that last one Dave just said is probably a big one, because we had a couple guys at Stanford, like they wouldn't even consider other schools because they didn't have the major that they wanted. So I'd say school's honestly a big thing that a lot of people don't see. And then, yeah, just opportunity and playing time is probably the biggest thing that people really want. I mean, everybody wants to play. So, but the school one, that's probably the biggest one that people don't really recognize, because a lot of the same schools don't have the same majors that people are looking for.
That's really interesting. Another huge hot button issue regarding college athletics is everyone's favorite three letters, which are NIL. So I'm just going to ask you guys, how has NIL changed not only your experience, but those of your teammates and your coaches? And what benefits and drawbacks do you see when you talk about NIL with just about anybody in like your athletic programs?
I feel like it changed a lot. But I feel like it was for the better. Now
Right.
Players are finally getting paid off, what they're doing and what, the fans that they're bringing to the games just because of their name, the team success. So I feel like it has its benefits, but sometimes it can it's not as good, because some players hit the portal just for the NIL. Just hearing numbers get thrown around, and they just go with it, not knowing the situation they're getting into, or playing time's not as much, but they're not caring just because the NIL so much.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty much hits it spot on. A lot of players do transfer just for the money aspect of it, honestly. I mean, just because of who they are, what they think that they should get. So I would say that would be like the only downfall. But I think it's a good thing, honestly, because like you said, players do get paid off of their
Right.
name, image, and likeness. I mean, it's something that players have always like really tried. It brings people into the games. Anything that they can do, I feel like that the players should get rewarded for it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yes.
So anytime an organization can make millions of dollars off of a player's name and image, and players aren't legally allowed to receive any kind of compensation, that's the real crime. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes, Les is 100% right here.
Yeah, for sure.
A little less cynical of a question this time around, which is you've already hinted at it a little bit. What role did your families play in making your decision this time around?
They played a huge role for me. They were just somebody that I leaned on. Whenever I was talking to these coaches, just trying to talk to them and hear what they had to say out. Trying to have a influence, but a positive influence, listening to what I had to say, and just believing in the choice that I had to make for myself and for bettering my future. So I'd say a big role.
Yeah, I would say a big role. That's always a big thing for me is my family, and I'd honestly say decision for me like this time around was coming closer to home because I was about 6 hours away from home at Sanford. So I just wanted to be close to my family, easier for my family to come to games. And yeah, I mean, any coach that has a relationship with my family and I think that it's going to be a good relationship, I feel like it's always going to be better for the player too. So it's a big thing.
Yeah.
This next question is for Dayvion, and I'm going to take it back to one of the first times I interviewed you when I was with the Sentinel News. And you told me that the end goal with your basketball career is to eventually play professionally. And when I see you committed to Xavier and Coach Miller, he's coached a lot of players that have played in the NBA, whether it's Lauri Markkanen, DeAndre Ayton, etc. Did Coach Miller's experience coaching future NBA players factor into your decision at all to go to Xavier?
Yeah, it did for sure. Him being one of the top college point guards when he played and producing some of the top, players in the league today. It definitely played a huge impact. I feel like he knows the end goal for me, and he has the the best knowledge from a point guard standpoint to get me to the next level. So that definitely was huge.
And Marcellus, this next question is for you. Going from Division I to NAIA, how are the recruiting styles, similar, different, and what are some of the biggest differences, whether it be play style, campus life, et cetera, between the two levels that the casual fan may not understand?
Well, what people don't really understand is NAIA is mostly Division I transfers, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't understand that, but I mean, it's really pretty much the same. I would say the recruiting was pretty much the same. Honestly, it's basically the same, to be honest with you. The biggest thing for me was a lot closer to home, and I really get along with Coach Vernon, and I thought it was the place to be. So, yeah.
Before Matt gets into his next question, I'm really glad you touched on that because Matt and I both went to an NAIA college, and that's one thing I really want the audience to understand is that these NAIA basketball players, they can ball. We had several guys that are now playing professionally overseas, really good players, and Marcellus is the next really good NAIA player. So, Matt, not to cut you off again, my guy, but
you're fine. You're fine. I was just wondering if you had a favorite story of any kind, humorous, etc., from any of your recruiting escapades, I guess, whether it be high school, transfer, otherwise. Just if you had any memorable moments that you like to, keep in the back of your mind, whether it be meeting someone really cool or, like I said, just a funny story or it's just something unique that you remember a lot about any of your recruiting processes.
I say, in high school when I was getting recruited, I had a few coaches call me, but at the time I wasn't saving numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had a relationship and all that. We was texting and all that, but I didn't know what the coach's name was or what coach he was at. So,
bro, I was literally about to say the same
that whole
thing,
process.
bro.
I was just talking to him, not knowing what school or where he coached at. So,
bro, that's hilarious. I was about to say the same thing, bro. I had the same problem. One time his coach called me and offered me, and I didn't even know who called me.
yeah,
that's kind of messed up. I didn't even know.
And I couldn't ask who, what team he coached for it.
You gotta play it off. You gotta play it off.
I was too far along, so
I searched the area code to see who it was.
Did you find out?
Yeah, I figured it out finally.
Okay.
How long did it take you to figure it out?
Not too long. Not until I got off the phone and finally figured it out who it was.
I still don't know.
Dave still don't know.
I was about to say the same thing. That's hilarious.
Dude, that's awesome.
Oh my god. Oh, so is there anything else from your personal experiences that you would just like to add that you think that you really want people to know, like an emphasis that the common fan, or less says casual fan, wouldn't know, that you really want to get out there about like the narratives that are out there with like not just the transfer portal, but with college athletics in general? Are there any like grand takeaways that you just want everyone out there to know that they may not be thinking about?
I say college athletes go through more than just playing the sport that they play. It takes a toll on players when they're not doing good, so they already upset with themselves, and then having the fans talking negative about them, and then just social media getting carried away. And at the end of the day, we're more than just players.
Yeah, people don't realize that college athletes are still human sometimes. I mean, it's just like the same thing in the pros. I mean, we do the same thing normal people do, that people also don't understand how much college athletes do. Like, you got to wake up, you'll have weights, say at 6 a.m., then you got to go to class, you got to work out at 12, and then you got practice at 3, then you got to come back and get shots up later that night. Like, it's a lie, and people don't understand all
Then
the
you got
time.
to perform.
Yeah, people don't understand all the time that we put in. I mean, and you got to do rehab on your body. I mean, it's a lot. Yeah, but people don't understand that. Like, it's all the behind the scenes stuff that people don't see. Like, a lot of people think that we just come out there and play, and that's not all that it is.
Right.
Oh, not at all. And I'm really glad that you all touched on that, because a lot of people that I knew growing up that really didn't understand what college athletes really go through. They've always said, some of them said college athletes don't deserve to get paid, which is a crock of shit. Like I've said earlier this podcast, and they've always said, if they want to get money, why don't they just get a job? Well, with what time? I mean, like Sel said, you wake up, you hit the weights, you got class, you got practice. What time? Like, there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, a lot of my teammates do DoorDash, honestly, because
like DoorDash is hot.
Yeah, they be doing DoorDash like late at night, and then we'll have practice or weights at like 6 a.m. I'm like, golly, they're up until 2 a.m. doing DoorDash. It's crazy.
And I'm glad you said that too, because with NAI, that's also a lot of them do work. So kind of talk about, from what you've seen so far, Sel, how hard is it to balance? Would it be to balance a college athlete schedule and a work schedule?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no way any college athlete like during the season could have like a normal job. Like, DoorDash would probably be the only option that you had, to be honest with you, because I mean, all the practice and just stuff that we do, which I mean, I'm blessed to do it. I want to do it because I love the game, but like, it's just hard. Like, people don't get it. Like, yeah, it's a lot.
And one of the last questions I had is, how often have you all gotten a chance to work with your new teammates?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
I haven't yet worked with mine. I go down next week, so I start up real soon.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to work out with any of my guys yet either. I think we're gonna go play pickup sometime this month. Maybe me and some of the guys that live around here are gonna go play, but we don't go till either the very end of July or like the 1st of August is whenever we go. So if I don't get to go play with them, it'll be a while. But I've messaged all of them and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I'll say I think that wraps up the questions we had. Matt, do you want to add anything?
I guess I could add this one question, which are there any games that you guys notice you're going to play that you have kind of like a personal red circle around? Like, this is a game that I really want to ball out in. This is a game where I'm really looking forward to. This is a game where I get to play somebody I used to know. Anything like that. I mean, we don't know any schedules just yet, but are there any matchups that come to mind where it's like, oh yeah, that one's going on with a red circle because I'll be excited to see XYZ, or I just want to really show out in that game?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to tell my coach to schedule Dave and them for real. We might go up to Xavier and play for real. I'm trying to get a little exhibition in, Dave. So talk them up, bro. Talk them up.
No.
Dave said he ain't got pulled like that yet.
Mm-hmm.
If you pull that off. I'll go ahead, Dave.
The team I'm excited for is probably Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Xavier game.
Oh yeah, the crosstown, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about what you know about that rivalry.
I know it gets it. I know it gets it very intense. I heard it being one of the top rivalries, but I watched a little video about it when I was on my visit. It looked like it was intense. So
Now you get to experience it firsthand, man. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, will it be?
I would say that wraps up all the questions we have. I appreciate both of you all coming on for the podcast,
Yeah,
man.
this is great.
I hope
Thank you.
this was a great episode. Thank you all again for joining on. And as always, to the audience, we're going to get out of here. I don't want to hold you all up anymore, but to the audience, as always, like and subscribe to Less is More Sports YouTube and Spotify channel. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like in the comment section below. Be sure to follow the social media pages on Facebook and Twitter at Less is More Sports. And guys, thank you all again. I know
Yes,
I can't say this enough for jumping on the show, and best of luck to you all this coming season, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Go Musketeers, go Tigers.
Yes,
Amen.
sir. Yes, sir.